Good afternoon, children. Today we are going to revise chapter microorganism. Okay, children. Your portion for online test on coming Sunday is chapter electric current and its chemical effects. Revision of that chapter will take place tomorrow and day after tomorrow. Okay, children. Now your syllabus for first summative exam is almost complete. So today you will revise chapter microorganism, friends or foes. All of you know, children, there are a variety of living organisms around you. You see many plants, animals around you, and these organisms may vary in their shape and size. Some organisms are small like ant, and some organisms are large like elephant or neem tree, mango tree. Okay, children? So you see smaller size, medium size, very large sized living organisms around you. These living organisms may be animals or may be plants. And some organisms are present around you, but you cannot see them because they are very small, very tiny. So you cannot see them by your naked eyes. You can observe them only with the help of microscope. Such organisms are called microorganisms. Micro means very small, tiny. So a large variety of living organisms are present around you, which you can see with your naked eyes. Cat, dog, lion, tiger, rose plant, or many neem plant. Many plants and animals can be observed through your naked eyes. But some organisms are present around you which you cannot observe by your naked eyes. You can observe them only with the help of microscope. Such organisms are called microorganisms, or they are also known as microbes. And the study of microorganism is known as microbiology. Okay, children, did you understand?
चैप्टर 2 है। मैम चैप्टर इलेक्ट्रिक करंट का क्वेश्चन है सर, कब भेजिएगा?
Tomorrow or today at night. Okay, children, I will send. Now you pay proper attention. This time you study chapter microorganism, and tomorrow and day after tomorrow you will revise for Sunday test chapter electric current and its chemical effects. Okay, so you are reading chapter 2, microorganism, friends or foes. This chapter I had taught earlier, but today revision of this chapter is going on. Okay, children, so I discussed what is microorganism, and these microorganisms are studied under a branch of biology that is called microbiology. Okay, children, now you should know that these microorganisms could be studied only after the discovery of microscope. And Anton von Leeuwenhoek was the first scientist who discovered the existence of bacteria. Okay, children? Now you should know these microorganisms are divided into four important groups on the basis of their cell structure. Okay? Microorganisms are divided into four major groups on the basis of their cell structure. These major groups are bacteria, fungi, algae and protozoans. Okay? For example, bacteria, you know, these are unicellular plants. These bacteria may be useful or may be harmful. Examples of bacteria are Staphylococci, Vibrio cholerae, Salmonella typhi, etc. Bacteria are of various shapes. Bacteria may be spherical, may be rod shaped, may be spiral. On the basis of their shape, their name is also different. Like spherical bacteria are called cocci. Rod shaped bacteria are called bacillus, and spiral bacteria are called spirillum. In this way, they are named on the basis of their shape. They may be spherical, may be rod shaped, may be comma shaped, may be spiral. Okay, children? Like comma shaped bacteria are called Vibrio. So these are the bacteria. They may be parasitic or they may be saprophytic. Okay. Now next major group of microorganisms is fungi. Fungi are also saprophytic. Sapro means rotten, phytes means plants. They feed on dead and decaying matter. And these fungi are also non-green plants. They may be unicellular or may be multicellular. Like yeast is a fungus which is unicellular. Okay, children? And other fungi are rhizopus or bread mold, you can say. These are fungi. Fungi are non-green plants. They do not contain chlorophyll, so they cannot make their own food. They are saprophytes. Next major group of microorganisms is algae. Okay, children. First one I told you bacteria. Second one fungi. Third one algae. Algae are also plants. They are green plants. Okay, children. They contain chlorophyll. They can synthesize their own food by photosynthesis. Examples of algae are, you have read in the previous class, Spirogyra. Spirogyra is an algae. Chlorella is an algae. These are examples of algae. Now, next major group of microorganisms is protozoan. Protos means first and zoon means animal. These were the first animals. You know, children, microorganisms are the oldest form of life. Okay, so protozoans are the first animal-like organism. These microorganisms are unicellular. Protozoans are unicellular means they are made up of single cell, and all the life activities are performed by the single cell. These protozoans may move from one place to another place with the help of pseudopodia or cilia or flagella. Okay, children? Some microorganisms, some protozoans, they move with cilia. Cilia are hair-like structure. Okay, children? Like paramecium is unicellular. It is a protozoan and it can move with the help of cilia. Just now I am showing you the picture of paramecium, page number 3. You can see this is paramecium. It is a slipper-like animal cool. Okay, children, slipper-like shape is like a slipper, and you see on the surface of body there are minute hair-like structures called cilia, and these cilia help them in locomotion, and these cilia also help them in capturing the food. They can move with the help of cilia and they can capture their food also with the help of cilia. So it is a protozoan. Okay, children, protozoans can move with the help of cilia, or some protozoan can move with the help of flagella, like euglena. You can see the diagram of euglena. It is flagella. One flagellum is there. Singular is flagellum and plural is flagella. You see flagella, there is single flagella, it is flagellum. Children, are you listening to me? Am I audible, children?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you understanding?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, should I continue? Should I continue?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, see. So these are protozoans. Okay, some protozoans can move with the help of flagellum, like this Euglena, and it also captures its food with the help of flagellum. Okay, children, this Euglena is showing mixotropic nutrition, means that it is animal but it contains chloroplast, so it can synthesize its own food. This is the character of heterotrophs, but it is mixotropic nutrition. Showing mixotropic nutrition means mixo means mixed. Sometimes it can synthesize its own food and sometimes it depends on the others. Okay, children? So it is showing both autotrophic and heterotrophic nutrition. This Euglena, it is a protozoan. All of you know that the animals do not contain chloroplast, but this is an exception. This Euglena is unicellular microscopic organism. Okay, it is not a plant, but it can contain chloroplast and it can synthesize its own food. Okay, and you know, children, amoeba, most common protozoan. This amoeba moves with the help of finger-like projection called pseudopodia. Okay, children? And it also captures its food with the help of pseudopodia. So, protozoans are microscopic unicellular animal ghouls. Okay? And they are heterotrophs and they can move from one place to another place, or locomotion takes place in protozoans with the help of cilia, flagella and pseudopodia. Okay, children? So this is all about protozoans. You have read 4 major groups of microorganisms on the basis of cell structure. Once again I am repeating: bacteria, fungi, algae and protozoans. These are the 4 major groups of microorganisms on the basis of cell structure. Okay? Examples also you have seen and some characters also I have discussed. Now the next topic is viruses are unique. All of you will look at your book also. No topic should be left. Viruses are unique. Okay, children? Now, viruses are ultra microscopic structures. Why they are unique? Because sometimes they behave as a living thing and sometimes they behave as a non-living thing. Okay, children? When they are floating in the air, or when they settle on the knob of the door, they do not show the character of living. They can be crystallized and they can be stored in a jar, in a bottle. Okay, children? They can be crystallized. They can be crystallized like salt, sugar, and they can be stored in a jar. When they are floating in air, they are behaving as a non-living. But when they enter the body of any host cell, okay, children, when they come in contact with any suitable plant, animal or bacteria, then they start to show the characteristics of living things. They start to multiply. They start to reproduce. And all of you know, children, that reproduction is very important characteristic of living things. So all of you have studied that viruses are unique because sometimes they behave as a living thing and sometimes they behave as a non-living thing. When they are floating in air, when they settle down on the knob of the door, they behave like a non-living thing. They are non-living like salt, sugar, etc. They can be crystallized and they can be stored in a jar. But when they come in contact with any plant, animal or bacteria, then they start to show the characteristics of living things. They start to multiply, they start to reproduce. So sometimes they are showing characteristic of non-living things and sometimes they are showing characteristics of living things. Therefore, scientists consider them at the borderline of living and non-living, and you can say that viruses are unique. Okay, children? Now, where do microorganisms live? Microorganisms may live in all types of environments. They may be found in desert, they may be found in seawater, air, everywhere. They can be found in the body of plants, animals, and in the body of human beings also. Okay? So, they are found in almost all types of environment. Now, you should know that the microorganism may be found in our mouth, in our throat, in our large intestine, in our saliva, in our armpit, in our scalp. Everywhere they can be found. They may be found in our palm. So whenever you take your meal, before taking your food, you should wash your hand properly with soap, because some bacteria may be present in your palm. So what I mean to say, children, that these bacteria may be found in all types of environment. They may be found in ice cold water, in hot spring, in dry or marshy or saline areas. They may be found in the body of plants, animals and human beings. If you observe different parts of your body, you can see this diagram that the number of bacteria present in different parts of the body. In armpit, number of bacteria you can see, in the saliva, in the scalp. In different parts of the body, the number of bacteria are too much. Okay, children? But these bacteria which are present in our body, some of them are harmful as they may cause diseases, but some of them are not harmful because they form an essential system that helps our body. Okay, children? Now you should know, children, these microorganisms, as I told you, the name of the chapter is friends or foes. Who are called friends? Those who are helpful for you are called your friends. In the similar way, these microorganisms are useful. Some microorganisms are very useful for us, so they are our friends. But at the same time, some microorganisms are very harmful also. Okay, children, in this chapter you will read how.
Ma'am, do you know?
What's your question?
Ma'am, do you know?
Do you know?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, that I will discuss. Okay, that also I will discuss. Now, children, you should know that some microorganisms are useful, so they are our friends. But at the same time, some microorganisms are very harmful. They may cause serious diseases. They may cause spoilage of food. They can spoil the food. They can damage leather items. Okay, children, this I will discuss later. Right now you see how microorganisms are useful. Why do we call them our friends? Okay, children. So next topic is microorganisms as our friends. Microorganisms are our friends because they are useful in making many food items. Like we can make curd and cheese with the help of bacteria. All of you know lactobacillus bacteria. Bacillus means rod-shaped bacteria. I have told you that bacteria are named according to their shape. Some bacteria are spherical, they are called cocci. Some bacteria are rod-shaped, they are called bacillus. Some bacteria are comma shaped, they are called vibrio. Some bacteria are spiral, they are called spirillum. So here I told you lactobacillus. It is a bacteria which is very useful because it converts milk into curd. Okay children? You know children why the taste of milk is sweet? Do you know? Why the
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, because of presence of lactic acid in it.
because of presence of
Because of presence of lactic acid present in it.
wrong answer children. Milk is sweet because of presence of lactose sugar, and curd is sour because of the presence of lactic acid. Okay children, so sugar makes taste sweet. Milk is sweet because it contains lactose sugar, and curd is sour due to presence of lactic acid. Okay children, so this lactobacillus bacteria converts milk into curd. Some bacteria are useful in making cheese, and fungi is used for making bread, cake, etc., fluffy and spongy. Idli, dosa, etc., these are made fluffy and spongy with the help of a fungus called yeast. Okay children, what happens, how it makes bread and idli, dosa fluffy and spongy? Do you know how?
Yes, ma'am.
How?
Ma'am, ma'am, by fermentation.
By fermentation. Okay children, what happens when they respire anaerobically? In yeast anaerobic respiration takes place. Means sugar is oxidized to ethyl alcohol, carbon dioxide, and energy is released during anaerobic respiration, and this carbon dioxide increases the volume of the dough which we use for making idli or dosa, and it makes idli and dosa fluffy and spongy. Okay children, so this process of conversion of sugar into ethyl alcohol, carbon dioxide, this process is called fermentation. Am I clear children? So due to fermentation, fermentation process takes place, and bread, idli, dosa, etc., are made fluffy and spongy. So you can observe that yeast is very useful microorganism. Yeast is a unicellular fungus, and by the process of fermentation we can make idli, dosa, bread, etc., fluffy and spongy. This fermentation process is also used for making ethyl alcohol. As I told you children that during anaerobic respiration, that glucose is converted into ethyl alcohol, carbon dioxide and energy, and this ethyl alcohol is also called ethanol, and this ethyl alcohol is used for making alcoholic beverage. Okay children, so
Yes.
microorganisms are useful for making alcoholic beverage. Okay, this is fermentation process. Fermentation process is used in bakery, and this fermentation process is also used in making alcoholic beverage. Okay children, activity is given in your book. You can perform this activity very easy. How milk is converted into curd with the help of lactobacillus. You can take 4 bowl, okay, smaller size bowl, and take 100 ml milk in each bowl, or 50 ml also, okay, and in one bowl you take boiling milk, and in other one you take warm milk, and in third one you can take cold milk, and add small quantity of curd in all these three bowls and cover a lid over it and leave it for 6-7 hours. Okay children, after that you will observe
मैम
that.
आप जो पोर्शन दी है उसका क्वेश्चन आंसर मैम आप भेज दीजिएगा.
Okay, I will send. Okay children, so you
Yes
have
ma'am.
you have seen that the bowl in which you have taken boiling milk, in that curd will be not formed, curd of good quality will be not formed, and the bowl in which you have taken cold milk, in that also formation of curd will not take place, and the bowl in which you have taken warm milk, lukewarm, in that you will see children the quality of curd will be very good. So what do you observe? What is the right temperature for the multiplication of the lactobacillus? Lactobacillus is a bacteria which can convert lactose sugar into lactic acid. Okay children? And what is the right temperature for the multiplication of lactobacillus? Can you say?
Ma'am,
About
8 degrees Celsius.
About
5 to 8 degrees Celsius.
No, wrong answer. 5 to 8 degrees Celsius. No formation of curd will take place.
Celsius to 45 degrees Celsius. 30 degrees Celsius.
If the temperature will be 25 to 30 degrees Celsius, then the quality of curd will be better. Okay children? And curd will be formed. Milk will be converted into curd. So this activity you can perform and you can show me tomorrow. How many of you will perform this activity? This is your home assignment. You take a small sized bowl and fill it with milk and add little amount of curd in it. In one bowl you take boiling milk, and in the other one you take warm milk, and third one you take chilled milk. Okay, and add equal small quantity of curd in it and cover a lid over the bowl and leave it for 4-5 hours, and then you observe in which bowl you will see the quality of curd is good and in which bowl there is no formation of curd. So you can observe children that the bacteria require certain temperature for its multiplication, and what is the right temperature? In warm milk the quality of curd will be good. That is the right temperature for the multiplication of bacteria.
समझ गए. जितना भी ले लेकिन दही का मतलब तीनों में इक्वल डालना और उसको फिर रख देना. अब क्या ऑब्जर्व करेंगे आप? यही है.
Next topic is sewage treatment. Some bacteria are used in the treatment of sewage and industrial waste. It is called effluent, and this process is known as bioaugmentation. Okay children, very important topic. Some bacteria are useful in the treatment of sewage and industrial waste called effluent, and this process is called bioaugmentation. So you have studied how microorganisms are useful. Some topics you have seen. They are useful in making food items like curd. Milk can be converted into curd. They are useful in bakery. We can make bread, or we can make idli and dosa fluffy and spongy, or these microorganisms are useful in making alcoholic beverage. Okay, some microorganisms are useful in the treatment of sewage and industrial waste, which is called effluent, and this process is called bioaugmentation. Okay children, so this is all about how microorganisms are useful, you are seeing. Next topic you will see children, some microorganisms are useful in energy production. All of you have read about the fuel. Like, what is a fuel? A fuel is a substance which burns in air and produces heat and light energy. Okay, so some bacteria are used in biogas plant and they produce methane. And just now you have studied, during the process of fermentation ethanol is also produced. So bacteria are used in the production of ethanol, means ethyl alcohol, and methane, and these two are very good fuels. So you have seen microorganisms are useful in energy production. Okay children, they are used to make fuel. Some microorganisms are useful in agriculture. Like rhizobium bacteria is found in the root nodules of leguminous plants and they convert atmospheric nitrogen into nitrate. Plants cannot use atmospheric nitrogen. So these rhizobium bacteria convert atmospheric nitrogen into usable form of nitrogen, which can be used by the plant. They convert atmospheric nitrogen into nitrate and plants use it as fertilizer. Some microorganisms like blue-green algae, cyanobacteria, they are found in the rice field and they also add nitrogen in the soil. In this way, children, you see that microorganisms are useful in agriculture. ठीक है बच्चों? Are you following children? Some microorganisms are useful in energy production. Some microorganisms are useful in agriculture. These are useful microorganisms. Now you will see children, some microorganisms are useful in human health. All of you have studied in the previous class that some bacteria are present in the cecum of digestive system of cow and it helps in digestion and absorption of food. And some bacteria are present in our large intestine which help in our bowel movement. So they are also helpful in digestion. Okay. Some bacteria are useful in making